So I just wanted to welcome everybody. Like I said, we're going to be hearing from Kelly Parks, who's a Sales Enablement Manager at Ceros today, and she's going to be talking us through her journey with Guru. But right now, as we get started, just everybody introduce yourself in the chat. Feel free to drop in what your favorite ice cream flavor is as well, just to get to know everybody. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some new Guru features that are available. Eli and Imtiaz on our team are going to walk you through some really cool updates with Guru and Microsoft Teams, which is really exciting. So we're going to spend some time on that and then get to hear from Kelly and the strategy she has for us today. And then we are going to be able to connect as a group. We're going to have some Q&A time with Kelly to talk through some of her approaches and answer any questions that you guys might have. And then finally, we're going to have some extra time to network. Hopin has this ability where you can go to another session and be matched randomly with people. So we're going to get a little bit of FaceTime in as well. This is how we'll break up the time. It's going to be an hour, but we'll walk you through some updates. Like I said, we'll hear from Kelly, and then we'll get to know each other and chat through some of our current challenges and how we can solve them. Now, before we dive into it and hear from Eli and Imtiaz, I wanted to make sure that everybody has these community resources noted. So don't forget, if you're not in the Guru Slack community right now, be sure to join. We have a lot of great conversations going on in there. People share best resources, tips and tricks. We also have a feed for product feedback too. So it's really the place to be. And if you're not there yet, be sure to go check it out. I'd also recommend checking out Remote-a-thon, which is going on. We have some upcoming sessions. We're going to be hearing from speakers, also from Ceros as well, and Square, Looker, Yext, just a lot of different people in the Guru community who are going to be speaking on all things knowledge-driven culture. So be sure to check that out. And then also, you're not going to want to miss the next Guru Deep Dive. It's kind of like a sister event that we host to the Guru The Gatherings, but Guru Deep Dives focus on Guru features and how you can really make the most of them. And this next Guru Deep Dive that we have coming up is going to be focused on tagging. So Imtiaz is going to talk a little bit more about that, but there's some really awesome things that our customers have done with tagging, as well as Guru initiatives that we've done lately to really improve our own use of tagging that we'll be speaking about. So definitely check that out. And you can go to events.guru.com or .getguru.com to see all of the full calendar of everything coming up so you don't miss anything. All right, and I will pass this to Imtiaz to speak. Let me make sure. I'm just going to minimize this real quick to make sure he can share his screen. And get him in the Hopin. Cool. Hey, Imtiaz.
Hey, can everyone hear me?
Oops, 1 second. Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome.
All right, go.
Yeah, Kelly, thanks for the intro here. My name is Imtiaz Alam. I'm an instructional designer here at Guru, and I just got a few updates to share with you guys. One of them being a product feature, and before we get there, I want to make sure I can let you guys know about the Guru Academy, which is already out there in the world as of May 27th. Kayla, you able to click to that slide there?
You got it.
Thanks. And the Guru Academy consists of courses for you and your team to take. Our launch, just being a month ago, meant that all the courses are made for your for onboarding or refresher courses for teams that might need kind of like a revamp on all things Guru. The courses are separated by user role, admins, collection owners / authors as one combined, and then read-only users. You just use your Guru account to log in, and the URL is just academy.getguru.com. So please make sure you're checking it out. And if you need language to roll out the Academy to your team, right there in the deck, there's a public card so that you can just copy and paste that and throw it out there to your org to get users rolling into the Academy. So that's going to be an awesome resource for everyone. Please check it out. Kelly, can you hit the next slide? Awesome. As Kelly alluded to during the intro, we have a sister session called Guru Deep Dives. And during Guru Deep Dives, we dive deeply into a product feature or two to kind of explore what it means and how Guru uses it and how customers use it. So each month we have a featured customer that will showcase and we'll show you how we use a certain feature. So the next one coming up is on tagging. It's going to be on July 16th. And if you right now in your Guru instance are like, oh, our tagging could probably use a little bit of a revamp, or hey, we just want best practices on tagging. Maria Matisek from our customer support team rather just did this giant revamp of tagging in our own Guru instance, and she's going to walk you through what that looks like. You're not going to want to miss it. It's awesome, and we're all feeling at Guru like pretty awesome about the way that our tagging structure works, and we have like guidelines around it. And so we're really pumped to share some videos and some assets, and we want to hear from you as well, which is a really big part of the Guru Deep Dive sessions. After I've done a functional demo, Maria does the Guru on Guru instance. Our customer, who is coming soon, does their part. At the end, you'll have time to share your thoughts, questions, clarifications, talk about any blockers that might be in the way, and throw out those questions. It's so important that you're able to share with others in the Guru community on these features. So please make sure that you RSVP and save your spot for that event on July 16th. Okay, next slide, Kaylee. The latest feature that we want to tell you about is super exciting. It is for Microsoft Teams. So if your organization is using Microsoft, you definitely want to check this out. Microsoft Teams is essentially our integration. So you're going to be able to search for cards. You're going to be able to manage your alerts and verifications all right there in your regular workflow in Microsoft Teams using Guru. And if when you get the deck in that link, that's the bit.ly Guru-Teams, that page spells out in really, really good detail what the integration looks like. But right now, there's a little quick video that we want to show you. It's very fast, and it'll just kind of demonstrate. So Jeff is here, and he's like, hey, what's the weekend schedule for our support team? And Shane is like, well, let me search Guru right there in the toolbar. He'll type in intercom because we use intercom for our support team. And there it is. He sees the weekend schedule. He can view it right there in Teams, verify, make sure the info is accurate, and post that card right there for Jeff to see. So that was like a super fast demonstration, but that's essentially a little sneak peek as to how the Microsoft Teams integration will work. But we highly encourage you to get in there and mess around, play with it, give us feedback. In order to get that app, just go to the Microsoft App Source site and type in Guru, and you'll see two apps that pop up. One is for this exact integration for Teams. Another one is for Outlook as well. So feel free to explore both if you haven't already and get your Microsoft Teams using Guru. And so I hope that was helpful. I hope that if you have any questions, please just throw them in the chat. Chris has been throwing out the links for the Academy, for the tagging session and for the Teams integration, but happy to answer whatever comes up. And that's all. Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Imtiaz. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to pass it over to Kelly now. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, Kelly is a Sales Enablement Manager at Ceros. She has done so much to transform Ceros's Guru instance within the last 6 months alone. And she's going to be talking through how you can really, set clear expectations and distribute ownership in order to do that. We're really looking forward to hearing from you, Kelly, for sure. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and pass it over to Kelly.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Kelly. Thank you.
I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to select a Chrome tab. Really excited to be here today, guys. Sorry, I'm just navigating. So as Callie had, sorry, we're just going to have to scroll to the part of the conversation that we need. Sorry about this, guys. Had it open on the page that I needed. And we're here. Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Callie? Awesome.
You can see it.
Thank you so much. So thanks for the introduction. My name is Kelly Parks, and I am the Sales Enablement Manager over at Ceros. Ceros is a cloud-based experiential content creation platform that empowers marketers and designers and various other teams to be able to create content without code. In fact, this presentation was made by myself, a non-designer, and the team over at Guru without a single line of code. Thanks, Guru, for letting me add a little Ceros flair to Guru the Gathering. To give you guys an idea of what type of organization we are, we have a little over 200 employees, and the number of Guru users we have is organization-wide. We're based out of New York City, but right now, sadly, we're not in our beloved offices. We are all working remotely. But you'll see in the scrolling slideshow some fun pictures of our office. It's honestly one of my most favorite offices that I've ever been to. But yeah, so to give you an idea of some of the teams that we have using Guru, sales, customer support, customer experience, marketing, enablement, and more, generally the entire organization. On the enablement team, we encourage a Guru first strategy to keep our knowledge management system up to date and full of the knowledge that will help our teams to succeed. And speaking of the enablement team, we are a small but mighty enablement team of two. Myself and Tori Belkin, our Senior Director of Sales and Sales Enablement. She rocks. She actually just got a promotion. She's my boss now. This wouldn't be possible without her and our fellow teammates. Shout out Team 1. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. To give you guys a better idea of what our sales tech stack looks like, we use Guru alongside other apps like Slack, Intercom, Zendesk, Google Drive, Lessonly, HubSpot, and of course, Ceros. And one way or another, these tie into our Guru instance, whether it's through an API or just link outs or embeds from or within cards. So today we're going to take a walk through what setting clear expectations in Guru looked like for Ceros and Guru. So our initial challenge when I started at Ceros and as part of my onboarding, it was getting introduced to Guru. So, when I started back in January, honestly, I didn't know what Guru was. And now I don't think I go more than an hour a day without it. And it's been instrumental to not only my own success, my team's success, but to our larger team's empowerment. I basically dream in Guru Green now. And just a note here, I was brand new, fresh out the box Guru user, and I picked it up super easy. So for any of you that are just starting out in Guru, you can rock it just like our team did. But anyway, Ceros never had an 100% fleshed out sales enablement team. So consider me to be employee number 2 on that eventual enablement team as it is today. Remember, the small but mighty team of Tori and Kelly. So one of my first tasks was to read all of Guru. Now, what does that mean? Will you really have to read all of the cards in your instance to get organized? I'm sure some of you out there have hundreds, if not thousands of cards, not to mention a hefty amount of documents outside of Guru that you couldn't possibly read through. You have to be thoughtful in how you approach this when you're bringing in the reins of your knowledge base. Before our enablement team was formed, there was a semblance of organization, but not a structure that could scale effectively and efficiently. Scaling your knowledge management is essential when you have as many teams as we do using Guru. So our approach took a couple of different directions. So a majority of our journey around the last 6 months was framed around making our knowledge scalable, which we identified some different criteria to achieve this goal. So you're going to see a card pop up on the side. One of the things that happened throughout this journey was creating a Guru best practices cards for authors, for collection owners, and all about the Chrome extension. So in order to scale your knowledge for success, you have to determine the best way to organize it. And we can tell you it will certainly not be the same for every collection. In order to map out your processes, start by taking inventory of what exists knowledge-wise at your company. So for example, you could go into Google Drive, you could go into your Guru instance and just kind of like get an idea of what you already have within your collection. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your knowledge up for success. So some parts of your collections, you'll want in alphabetical order, like the glossary cards that I'm showing here. It made sense for, these glossary cards. As you can see, we have customer success and then Ceros internal, general business. So that's in alphabetical order. And then the definitions within those are also in alphabetical order. But sometimes you want to order them by, order of importance or the way that you feel views best in your instance. For example, if it's in the marketing collection at your company or the sales collection or the product collection, do we need a card to link out from sales? Because then you could use the deep linking with the little G button in the cards to be able to have that information accessible to not just the marketing team, but also to the sales team. So deciding what lives where is an incredible challenge for some information, especially when it's used by multiple teams. But with some thought, you'll be able to narrow it down to the correct home. So the next set of criteria that we followed in our process was, something that I'm sure most of you do at your organizations, and that's getting organized. As we organize collections and board groups and boards and sections and cards, we had to be thoughtful with how the information was placed. Now, our average user uses the search bar at the top, like Google, the same way how we all type into Chrome, where do I find the nearest dog shelter? But for the purpose of organization and your sanity, I would recommend still keeping your content as tidy as you can be, even if your teams are just using the search bar to search for things. You want to make sure that even if they choose to click into a collection, that it'll be readable. And like I said before, whether that's alphabetical or organizing it by order of importance. Another easy way to increase your content searchability is to ensure it's properly tagged. Not only should your content be organized, your tags should be too. For us, one of the tips that I could give you is that we organized our tags based by collection. So if it was something that had to do with the enablement collection, it sat in the enablement tag bucket. The next set of criteria that I can give you guys is that you want to make sure that you use your resources. So in this case, your resources could be your own team, and they're dancing over here because they're excited because they're working together. Resources could be your own team, your CSM. If you have one, shouts out to Jamie. I don't know what we would do without her. And the resources that Guru provides to us online, like the newly launched Guru Academy, that's awesome. Like your team can go in there, you can go in there and you can learn more about Guru. You can learn how to leverage it. Don't be afraid to ask the silly questions either. Use the Guru community. Use your own team, like ask those questions. You're never going to find the answer if you don't, have the courage to stand up and ask about them. And then one of the last criteria that we identified was to not go at it alone. So this is an example of a Slack message that I had sent out during my first few weeks at Ceros. And it was just introducing who I am and how I wanted to meet with them and my now boss and talk about how we can work together, like better together cross-functionally. And a lot of this was centered around the information that we found in Guru. You have people that will support your efforts. This means you will have to work with stakeholders on how to best organize the content that you have and where it should live, how often it should be verified. And I promise you the work is worth it. You're able to align on the needs of your team that come from respective departments. And now, because of that alignment, I meet frequently with our CS operations manager, who we collaborate with on a ton of different initiatives inside Guru that help not just her team, but it makes an impact for customer success as well. This could be ongoing knowledge, handoffs between the sales team and the customer success team and, how to manage all of that. And that actually led to us changing the name of our, it used to be called the Sales Enablement Collection. We changed it to just be called the Enablement Collection because we felt like it was relevant to all revenue generating teams. So it was really helpful to have those conversations just to figure out how we can organize and best organize things inside Guru. So some tips that I would give you guys when you're following any of the approaches that I'm recommending, one of the first ones that I would say is delegate. It takes some delegation to really get your Guru instance where you want it to be. So start small and build up. Start somewhere, really anywhere. For us, everything that we started to tackle in January set a precedent and translated into other moves inside Guru. The series of decisions is what led to everything else, choosing what's in alphabetical order, choosing by what we needed, what's, listed in order of importance. It's really, really important to delegate out those tasks. And just an example of a success story from us delegating was one of our collections was at 40% verified. And we met with a stakeholder from that collection and we said, hey, do you think you could help us get this information up to date? And in less than 2 weeks, they were up to 88% verified. And now I think they're even beating me in terms of verification, which is great. That's awesome. We delegated, they have information that's up to date, that team is now set up for success. And then the next tip that I would give you guys is to lean on your SMEs, your subject matter experts. I remember being in one of these Guru the Gatherings and someone said, you don't need to know everything. You need to know the people who know everything. And it's okay to not know everything, but identify who your subject matter experts are, because of leaning on, our subject matter experts, going back to the delegation, we were able to take that collection from 40% verified all the way up to 88% verified. And, this creates ownership and subject matter expert empowerment and just overall positive reinforcement for your entire organization. And for us, one of the really, really cool things that came out of delegation and leaning on our subject matter experts is our new-ish knowledge submissions collection, where we have cards in here that, aren't pushed live to the entire company, but we collaborate in there. As you can see here, we have some labels: sales, professional services, human resources. And this is where we can have it's basically like our own little internal draft collection where we can figure out what information needs to be pushed live, what we might be missing from it. And then eventually we move it over into their respective collections. But this is so much easier than, creating the copy in a Google Doc or creating the copy on Slack and then having to move it over into Guru. It's already there. It's just, you can move it directly right over into the respective collection once it's ready. And then talking about what's up next for Ceros and Guru, one of the first things we have is stakeholders. So as you can see in this GIF, when one of us shines, all of us shine. So stakeholders. We're working to identify a dedicated stakeholder from each part of the organization, because as much as our enablement team would love to, live in Guru all the time, we need someone to be the collection connection from each part of the org. And that's not to say we haven't turned people into, Guru peeps already first. I have this really awesome SDR manager who she's just a huge fan of creating cards first instead of creating Google Docs for snackable information. And because of those efforts, we actually have this whole new section in Guru for cold call training. And they're now available for learning purposes for the entire team. And, because of leaning on those stakeholders, like the initial ones that we've identified, we really upped our Guru game in less than 6 months and during a very, very uncertain time for the world. And then my next thing that's up for the enablement team is leveraging Guru outside of just Guru. So this includes the Chrome extension, which has knowledge triggers and AI suggest. We just started implementing knowledge triggers. I can't speak. For a specific set of cards, but we also plan on diving deeper into AI suggest for our team's use. And it's just a good reminder for us that now that we've kind of gotten our instance a lot more organized, Guru can live where you need it to live. If I'm on my CRM one day and I forget how to do something in there, I can easily look it up in the Guru Chrome extension. So we really want to have them hone in on leveraging the Chrome extension, whether that's in our CRM while they're emailing prospects and whatnot. And then some fun stuff. So yay, exciting stuff. Really big Grey's Anatomy fan. That's why there's that GIF in there. Some of the fun stuff that came out of, organizing our content and really honing in our sales enablement strategy was the ability to create a Ceros Culture and You collection. So within this collection, we have all about Ceros and our values. We have Ceros activities, which, during our remoteness has turned into, meditation sessions and sharing recipes. And one cool thing that we do when we start at Ceros is create a passion presentation. So we're aggregating all that information into there. Another cool resource we have is like sales blogs and resources that we share out in a Guru card. So now that we've done all the serious stuff, and we're still doing the serious stuff, this is just some fun stuff that's come out of it that we're able to now work on now that we have a better hold on our enablement strategy. And these are just some example cards that exist. This one in our sales resources section, and this one in our Ceros Culture and You collection. It's just our values, what we base everything we do off of. If you ever hear someone from Ceros say we find a way, because we do, that's like one of our biggest mantras. So yeah, that covers everything that I have done alongside my teams. for the past 6 months within Ceros. And, you know, I'm honestly so happy that Guru asked me to do this. I was really shocked because I feel like I'm just having fun. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to me talk about Guru and Ceros.
Thank you, Kelly. Man, there were some great quotes you just dropped there. I comment in the chat if anybody else dreams in Guru Green, because I'm sure that if anybody has done a lot of card revamping, relate to that. I know I relate to that. But I really appreciate you walking us through, you know, how you got your sales enablement collection up to a really awesome standard that you brought to the rest of the organization. What we're going to do now is give everybody a chance to just discuss some of the things that Kelly talk about how that applies to your own organization, and ask questions. So you can ask to share your video and audio in this chat. We're going to do the group discussion here. So if everybody wants to kind of start jumping on, joining the group, looks like we got. Cool. Yeah, we can all hop on. Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Catherine. When I first saw your name pop up, I looked at your last name and I was like, is that me? Because my last name is me.
It's funny because I thought the same thing when I thought my name was attached to your first name when I was joining the call, and I was like, oh, no, wait. Okay.
Well, you know, how about that? Okay, cool. Just give people a few more minutes to hop on and request. So you guys, on your hop-in screen, you'll be able to see request to share your video and audio, and that's how we'll all jump in.
Kelly, that was great. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thanks. It feels like a giant weight. It's just woo.
So really appreciate it. And really enjoyed the Ceros experience that goes along with it.
Thank you.
Hi, Caroline.
I worked really hard to be a designer this week.
Yeah.
I was moonlighting as a designer.
There you go.
Love the extra flair.
Thanks.
Ellie, it's great to see you. Throw back to like what, a year ago when you came to visit Guru.
I know.
A sales enablement queen as well. So
wow. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Welcome, Olivia. Let's see. I'll keep adding people as they request, but just wanted to open the floor. If you guys have any questions for Kelly, feel free to kind of jump in and start. I know I have some follow-up questions as well, so I'm happy to also go. Yeah.
I have a question. I'll jump in. So Kelly, one of the things that I kind of resonated the most with in your presentation was talking about delegating and getting other stakeholders involved in ownership of Guru. Yes. So I'm actually the primary owner of Guru at my organization, but don't have all the knowledge, as you kind of mentioned. And I've tried in the past to kind of delegate and have individual stakeholders from each organization own their information. And it's kind of gone in fits and starts, I would say. I think successful for a little while, and then it kind of falls off and they forget that they're supposed to be doing that, or they're not making it a priority. So I guess my question would be, how have you so successfully gotten others in the organization bought in on ownership when it might not be technically their actual responsibility?
Yeah, so we're still like in the midst of identifying a stakeholder from each part of the organization, but to give you a good example, our customer success operations manager will probably be like the best example of that. Not only did like I meet with her, we also had our CSM meet with the people that we wanted to identify to be stakeholders. So even just I have like a bi-weekly meeting with our CSM, and the one that we just had today, we actually invited our marketing operations manager to, because we would like for him to possibly be the champion stakeholder for Guru on the marketing side. So it was really just a matter of not only myself or my manager Tori meeting with those people, but also like having our CSM meet with them or someone from Guru. So that way, they feel empowered. It's not just, someone they work with, having them work on that. And it's also like really helpful because then, they know when there's new features, so they'll actually use them because they're meeting with the CSM. So it's really just a matter of like figuring out who you want to have that conversation with them. So it's not just yourself. So it doesn't just fall on them thinking like, oh, this is annoying. Why is Kelly the only one asking me to do this? Like we kind of like split the responsibility between myself, my manager, and our CSM, so that our CSM could empower them, and then we could make sure that they're still staying up to date with their collections and whatnot. But definitely a work in progress. I mean, you're not always going to get like 100% adoption, but I will say like our customer success ops manager and our identified as two stakeholders on the CS and the marketing side. They've really like come to adopting Guru. Our CS ops manager was here before me, so she was already adopting Guru before then. So she was a lot easier to be a champion than anyone else. But our marketing ops manager is like really eager to learn. So it's just a matter of identifying a person within that part of your organization that will be eager to learn. You don't want to choose someone who either doesn't have the bandwidth or they're not eager to learn and actually adapt to, capturing the knowledge in Guruverse, creating 100 Google Drive documents.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A jump off or what do you call it? A piggybacking question off of that, Kelly. Kelly recently did a podcast with one woman we work with. Her name is Raj. She's a sales enablement consultant. And when I was listening to that podcast, Kelly, you were giving an example of one of the women you work with on your team who was really thrilled about Guru's verification feature and that it could remind her to continue to update her information. And I know our teammate Eli, who couldn't be here today, one of his recurring questions or things he looks into is really what incentivizes those other people in the other departments. So I think like being eager to learn is interesting, but have you noticed any other sort of like either inherent trait or initiatives that you've done to really rally people around Guru that get them super engaged with it?
Yeah, and that one specific person who does likes the verification feature for keeping it up to date. That's also one of the people that likes to create stuff and like is adopting that Guru first strategy. And I think one of the best ways to do that is that when I notice Guru cards that have link outs to Google Docs that might just be like one page Google Docs and it's not something that anyone's collaborating on, it's not something that's frequently updated, I'll usually just reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want me to move this over into a Guru card? So it'll kind of start out like that. Like I'll move it over for them. And then if I see it again, I'll be like, hey, do you want me to show you how to move this over? So it's kind of like easing their way into it. Like not just saying like, oh, please don't create a Google Doc first. Please don't create a notes tab first. Please don't create a Word doc first. Like instead of pushing it on them, it's kind of like offering to help them and like training wheels. And then eventually just letting them fly by themselves, which is it's pretty much how everyone has adopted it. Anyone that I've helped migrate stuff over from a different document into Guru, that's just eventually you got to take the training wheels off and then they feel empowered themselves. And also showing them, like I said before, like when they know about new features, like they're more enticed to use the product. It's kind of like the same concept, like the Apple effect. When a new phone comes out and there's a really cool feature, you're going to want to buy it. That's kind of like, you got to get people hype about new features. Like if Guru comes out with a new feature, I'll send it to the team and be like, Guru's came out with this feature or Guru's going to be coming out with this feature. So just like keeping them in the know. People like when stuff is like new and fresh and cool. So I think that's been like incredibly helpful in getting people to adopt, the Guru first strategy.
I'd love to share something that we had success with at my company. We have other issues that we're dealing with, but one thing that we did have success with is that we kind of integrated Guru into our orientation. So we have everybody make a kind of about me card when they join the team. And so it's available for people to kind of look through and I'm also in charge of celebrating birthdays through Slack, since we're a completely virtual company. That's how we do it. So I'll oftentimes reference the Guru card in terms of fun facts about that person. So anyway, I just wanted to share that as kind of a technique, I guess, that we use, because that's a way that you can train somebody from their first day on how to create their own card. And then it's something that's just kind of a part of their toolkit from day one. Anyway, just wanted to offer that. But
I love that.
We've had a hard time keeping people like adding cards later on, like they know how to do it, but it's hard to keep that engagement. I've found we're a smaller organization, so it's harder for me to do the delegation. But from an initial standpoint, that has worked.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that you're also responsible for birthdays. That's fun. I love birthdays. So like I love balloons and birthdays and parties and stuff. So I love that you're in charge of birthdays. That's incredible.
I do too. It's unfortunate that at a virtual company, we're not able to do all that fanfare that I would love, but
yeah,
we do a lot of gifts.
That's amazing.
I love that too. It's kind of like the icebreaker into Guru, get people to dip their toes in it and then really engage with it. And that's why I was so happy that Kelly also shared what she's been working on with their HR people ops team to really instill the Ceros culture and build those values as they bring on new members through Guru. And I wonder, Caroline, I remember last time we connected, you guys are going through like a major growth phase and Guru is trying to support that. I wonder Guru is supporting that. I wonder how that's been showing up on your onboarding too, or if there's certain things that you guys do with Guru as people join the team that helps it make it easier for them to engage over time. I know you're like the main owner right now too, but if you have any thoughts.
So I just had a meeting earlier this week with like person in charge of like everything CX and operations, because that's who mainly use in Brooklyn, and it's mostly our CX team and our operations team, everything Guru, and we have recently onboarded a bunch of like offsite outsourcing programs or teams to help our CX, and with that, it was a big transition from like, this is how we used to train and this is how everybody in-house used to know everything. But now we have to train everybody that knows nothing about our company and doesn't really know our brand, and they need to know everything about all of our products. So the meeting I had earlier this week was we're going to try to transition our training directly from Guru. So people that, as they're like learning all this information and trying to retain everything, we know that they're not going to retain all of our product information. So if we can somehow like do all the training through Guru, at least they know how they can find it and where they can find it. And this transition has been possible because we've made some subject matter experts within our team. So like really relying on them to like put the information in there. Everybody on the team checks it. We're all like, okay, is this how things are done? Like, so it's a big transition right now. But it's exciting and fun, and these gatherings help a lot. Like there are a few things from Kelly, your presentation, that I was like, oh, I wrote that out. I was like, I need to do that. Like the buzzwords explain card.
That warms my heart. That literally warms my heart. The definition cards and the glossary cards was a labor of love, and Melissa on our professional services team, she really helped out with that, and it's really, really helpful because our teams, like sometimes the sales team doesn't know the same acronyms that the customer support team might know. So it was just like really helpful for the teams to be able to, identify when they're talking to a salesperson. If a salesperson says ARR out loud, they know what that means. So that warms my heart that you enjoyed those.
Yes, that will be extremely helpful.
I was just going to chime in really quick just on the theme of kind of building buy-in and engagement. One story that another customer shared who's not on this that has always stuck with me is when she was rolling out Guru. I think it applies for even like post rollout. She was really thoughtful about like identifying problems that other like team leads and departmental leads like had and had vocalized, and then finding a way. Usually there was some kind of tie-in to like capturing knowledge and sharing it that could like address that pain point or that problem. and she worked kind of one-off with like team leads and departmental leads. So she knew how to like influence over their teams, that she knew ultimately she wanted to get kind of like ramped up on Guru. And she just worked with them one-off to like better understand the problem and then basically like solve it in Guru. It's like, oh, you get a lot of these repeat questions about X, Y, and Z. Here, take a look. Now you can just like share this card. And that approach of like kind of working relationship by relationship and coming from like a, how do I solve your problem? Let me solve it and kind of show you that, like that worked really well for them in terms of getting buy-in from people who could then kind of like flow down that influence to their team. So I just wanted to share that because I think that was a really effective approach.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm all about efficiency and like streamlined automation. So I love that they, you know, they identified what they needed to have in cards and then shared that out. That is something that I try and do too. If I see someone asking the same question over and over again in a Slack channel, we make sure to get like that knowledge captured so that it doesn't get, you know, lost in the Slack, the depths of Slack.
Big problem I feel like I run into. There are so many things happening in Slack all the time, and I'm like, I try to like tag somebody like, hey, this is your subject matter. You need to make a card about this. And then it gets lost and people are like, I forgot to keep up with it. We actually have a doc running now that our in-house team, it's like, there's like green box that you check if you've made the card. Here's the topic. Here's who's making it. Here's the title, which is helping like keep up with who needs to make what cards.
Yeah.
But
the
Slack, like, oh.
That's part of the reason why we made the knowledge submissions collection. Once we realized that like just how much information floats in Slack and floats in Google Docs, it's just really easy to you know, migrate that information over. Jamie, our CSM, actually just showed me today that you can do knowledge clippers on Google Docs, and I'm mind blown. It's the coolest thing I've seen this week.
Awesome. Yeah, Jamie just comes out of nowhere with those fun Guru useful tips. So thank you guys so much. We have a few more minutes now before we'll transition to like the icebreaker, the networking part of this. And I just wanted to go over a few last things. But thank you again so much, Kelly, and thanks for everybody who shared, you know, their best practices and just the updates of what's been going on. Really look forward to the group discussion part of every Guru the Gathering because it's just just goes to hear what people are up to.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let's see. I'm just gonna go back to the Ceros presentation real quick. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
But just to wrap things up before we go off into the networking portion of this, Chris, Rachel, Imtiaz, and I, we always value, you know, your feedback on these sessions and what you think. Be sure to continue to Slack us on the Guru community, email us, or just, you know, pass us your thoughts and comments about how we can continue to make things better. I know recently I got the chance to chat with one of our community members. His name's Gabriel. He was in the last Guru the Gathering, but he had some ideas on topics we could focus on, which we'll probably bring into the July Guru the Gathering. So always feel free to reach out with us or reach out to us with ideas because then we can directly, you know, answer your guys' questions, facilitate that through these community gatherings, and just really kind of help you solve the current challenges you're facing and bring people together. And I just wanted to remind everybody too about these community resources. Again, definitely check out events.getguru.com and sign up for the Guru deep dives and upcoming remote-a-thon sessions because we're just continuing to, you know, drop knowledge virtually to everybody so that people can better improve their Guru instances, engage their teams, and just build knowledge-driven cultures. All right, so now what we're going to do is head to the networking portion. If you click on the side of your Hopin, the networking icon with the hand, you'll be able to go in. And the way this works, if you're new to Guru the Gatherings on Hopin, it matches you with a random person in that networking event for 5 minutes. And you get to chat and meet each other. And then when the 5 minutes are up, you'll get swapped and meet somebody else. So let's go hop in there. I'm looking forward to meeting you, whoever I get matched with. And just wanted to thank you guys again for coming out And thank you, Kelly, for sharing all of your amazing knowledge about how you enabled your team through Guru and how you just transformed everything at Ceros. So
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. If you enjoyed me, you'll enjoy my manager on Tori Belkin on July 9th.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I will see you over in the networking session. Bye, everyone.
Bye.